G'day viewers, and especially any new viewers, and welcome to a special edition of Single Racer. Now it's special because it's my biggest project yet, spanning over a 3-video series. And the video series will be on how to drive some faster hot laps on the Nordschleife. Now this is both for raw beginners who haven't done it before on the truest track, and some more advanced intermediate drivers who have a bit more experience with the track, and I'll be using my official RSR Top 20 live timing hot lap as a demonstration in a separate video. And now for my regular viewers, I know I do go on a bit ad nauseum about my 27 years of sim racing experience. Beginning with the PC game called Stunts, which was released in 1990. But bizarrely, up until that point, I'd never actually raced the Nordschleife before in any game, or even any multiplayer online racing, which I do regularly now. But I never did it before starting my channel in February this year, which is 2017. But since I was starting my new sim racing channel, I knew that had to change. And so the way I learnt the Nordschleife for myself personally was due to a guy named Yorkie from another racing channel on YouTube called Yorkie65. Now, I say Yorkie65, but I'll show you here that his channel, it's probably pronounced Yorkie 065 or Yorkie 065. I've never actually heard him say it in any video. And so I used his individual video that was called How to Drive the Nordschleife, and here it is here. But due to both doing skid control and advanced driving courses here in Australia when in my teens, plus my 27 years of sim racing experience, I both learnt and improved on the Nordschleife in a period of say 1 or 2 months, to the point where I was able to leapfrog a lot of the other drivers online already. And so without trying to sound egotistical, I was genuinely now always in the top 10 on if I put up the leaderboard, and most of the time in the top 5 just through that driving experience. And therefore I wanted to share that experience on how I actually achieved this so quickly. And so given that the Yorkie video is now over 2 years old, and he's kind of retired his side a little bit because he's helping out with the development of the game Project Cars 2, I thought I'd do this updated version for the current version of Assetto Corsa, now being version 1.14 at the time of recording this video, and the tutorial will be done over 3 videos that I'm creating as a complete set for the 2 separate levels of drivers. So this video will be showing just some initial general guidelines that are important to set up the next 2 hot lap videos. And the second video will be for fairly new or raw beginners of both sim racing and the track itself, especially the ones who crash a lot on the Nordschleife trying to, go too fast too early. And then the third video will be an example of my current top 20 RSR live timing hot lap and the little tricks I used on how I achieved this hot lap time. So in the original Yorkie video, he was meant to do 2 laps. He ended up doing 3 because mainly because he was already ahead of the ghost car at the time and just kept going. But in his first lap, which was roughly about say 70 to 80% pace, he tried hard to drive at that slower pace so that he could talk and walk you through the lap, but had to get so much information out that this was still quite hard for him, and he still had to talk fairly quickly to get all that information out that he wanted to. So in my updated version, I'll be doing this slightly differently by driving only the 2 laps in each video, but in the first lap I'll be using both slow motion and stop motion footage so that I can get all the information out without rushing, and then the second lap will be at full speed. and also with some short hand-like commentary over the top as a kind of reminder through each corner for the important parts of the track. And so just before we move on to the next two hot lap videos, let's firstly go through some quick guidelines for each of the hot laps that I feel are important for each one. Now, the two videos are mainly for both beginners and intermediate drivers. They're not really meant for advanced drivers other than someone who might want to get just that one corner unlocked a little bit that my video might be able to help with. But essentially they're for people like my brother Andrew who have never driven the track before. Now, my brother Andrew is a very seasoned sim racer on the same level that I am, but he's never driven the track. So it's the guide to help him with how to approach certain corners, how to set his position up for certain corners, things like that, that I hope to help with in both videos. Now, I will be saying a lot of the same commentary in each video, one being for the beginners, one being more for intermediate and advanced, and you can just choose which video you might want to check out first. And now for the second thing, which you can see the picture here, I'll be referring a lot to the curves or half circles of varied angles. Now, just for myself, I find that I use the expression half moon. It just seems to help because it has to do with a half circle, but there's so many different corners, as you can see here, and so many different angles of those corners that I'll just use the half moon reference, implying that when you turn the wheel, you'll turn the wheel to a certain point and just hold it. And that will be then the shape of the circle or the half moon, so to speak, that you hold all the way through the corner. Now, the third thing will be I'll be using my car of choice, which is the Ferrari GT2 car. This is for the intermediate to advanced third video. But I just wanted to make it clear that what I do is I've lowered the gears 2 notches from default. So it could confuse some people in the sense of they're looking at my gear and that might not match up with if they use a BMW GT2 car or a GT3 car. So all you need to do in that circumstance is, if you're watching the more advanced video, is just add a gear. So for every gear that I drive, if I'm in third, you do it in fourth. If I'm in fourth, you do it in fifth, etc. The only exception to that is second gear. Second gear on almost every time you use it on the track has to be second gear no matter what. So that's the only time that they will equal up to match the same gear. And now I want to talk about, for both sets of drivers, why the gears don't actually matter, in the sense that, especially if you're already a more advanced driver, you will realize that the gears don't matter so much because it all has to do with the flow. Sometimes you'll run wide, you need to change down to get it back onto the track. There's so many times where I might use a gear 9 out of the 10 times and I do something wrong, and the 10th time I have to alter that. And as you get more experienced, you'll realize that you just alter the gears to what you feel you're doing on the road. So to me, the more important thing, and that's the final guideline that I want to make, is that it has to do with the driving style. Now, I'm doing these videos based on my own driving style. I've heard that Jackie Stewart uses the expression, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. But for me personally, these two videos will be based on my driving style, and my driving style is commonly referred to or known as slow in, fast out. Now, in both those cases, I hate the word slow, because slow to me implies almost bad in a way, that it just has a negative connotation to it. So to me, the expression should be balanced in so that you can be fast out. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you in both videos, both for the beginner and the more intermediate driver, is how I balance myself up to get into the corner well and then try for maximum speed on the exit. And now I'll be brutally honest, because I absolutely want to be truthful in that my driving style can have a negative impact purely from the point of view that when I'm racing online, this happens to me quite a lot, is if I have a car right behind me, so we're talking 1 car length behind me, I do run the risk of getting rear-ended, because what tends to happen is I slow up more than most people, like from a braking point of view, and to set myself up for the flow through the corner. And if a driver isn't expecting me to brake early, they expect me to brake where they brake, they can rear end me. But what tends to happen if that's reversed is as we're coming into the corner, they move forward ahead of me. But what often happens is as we flow through the corner, I have set myself up so I end up catching them. And quite often I actually have to brake myself because I'm carrying so much speed out of the corner. And what tends to happen is, because Nordschleife has a lot of the corners where you come out onto downhill sections, I can often be anywhere from 2 to 5 kilometers faster coming out. And to me, that's the most important bit. So if you have a look at this map here, the flow from A to B is over the whole track. So I can get Corvettes, I can get all the faster Ferraris and the GT2 car that shoot away from me at the start because it's mostly straights. But by the time I get to the second half, which is a lot of corners, I actually often catch them up and potentially could pass them, because it's from the A to B that's the most important. Now I'm talking about hot laps, of course. It might be different for straight up races, but if you're doing a hot lap for your best time, you want that flow where you're carrying the speed out of the corner, maximizing the speed for the downhill or the straight section, and then you maximize overall your hot lap. And so now that those 4 guidelines are out of the way, this leads me to my 5th and final and definitely most important point. And that is that in the instructions that I might give you over the next 2 videos, you should do one simple thing in my eyes. And that is be like a sieve, the kind of sieve that sieves flour. And what you do is you take all that information and put it in the sieve and you give it a damn good shake and you say, all that fell through is not for me. Everything he says I don't like, I don't care, that just doesn't suit my driving style. And then all you do is you take the 1 or the 2 bits of information that you go, oh, hang on, I didn't think of that, and take that and you improve as a driver. So what I'm getting at is the 3rd video will be my official top 20 RSR live timing at the point of recording the video, and but I'm not in the top 10. And so the reason I'm not in the top 10 is because I'm missing bits as well. And so the whole reason for doing this video is to share with you how I got to this point. But the important bit that in referring to the sieve is that you have to be willing to learn. One person said to me online about changing which tyre I used, and I was instantly faster. I said, okay, no worries, thanks for that. Another bloke talked to me about changing the gearing slightly, and it all helps. You take it all in, you be like the sieve, you let the rubbish go, and you just say, no, that works for me, that doesn't. But be open to all the tips you can get from anyone, no matter how slow they might be. They might have a tip that just helps you for some reason rather than just saying, oh, I'll just go to the fast guy, he'll know better, but it might not suit your driving style. So just be open. I hope you enjoy the next two videos. If you like what I'm doing, I hope to do more of these tutorial type things to help other drivers. Please subscribe, and I'll catch you next time, and please check out any of the next two videos if you wish to. All right, see you later.